Jim Baird before it was cool. So, and Jim did an awesome job in this last session of the Indiana General Assembly in very difficult circumstances, managed once again to keep Indiana on a path of fiscal responsibility and also managed to pass additional tax relief and pass the most advanced educational choice legislation in the United States of America. Jim, we appreciate your stand, your courage. It's great to see you here today. It truly is. And it's great to be back in Clay County. I have a special place in my heart for Brazil, Indiana, because back it's going to push about 20 years ago, when I was starting a business, I had been involved a little in politics and a little bit in state public policy, but I got the idea that maybe I could start a business to syndicate a radio show all across the state of Indiana. I hung fluorescent lights in the basement of our home. I've got an extra phone line, fax machine, and I started calling radio stations around the state of Indiana. And you know, those of you that have started your own business know what it's like. That first sale, that first close, you never quite forget somebody who believed in you. And Mike Peterson with Wisdom Radio was the very first radio station out of what would be 20 radio stations that gave the Mike Pence Show a start. It all started here in Brazil, Indiana. And so, Mike, I see you here in the crowd with your lovely wife. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for believing in me. I remember getting the fax across the line and said, hey, we want to take your show at WSTM AM radio. And I called him up and I said, why? But he said, sounds like a good idea. We had a great run, didn't we, Mike? For about 6 or 7 years, I had the chance to have a long conversation with Hoosiers every day, 3 hours a day. Ended up being 6 days a week all across the state of Indiana. And that was really where I think, even though I was born and raised in southern Indiana in Columbus, went down to Hanover College, went up to Indiana University to study law in Indianapolis, I think my real appreciation for the goodness and the decency and the common sense and common wisdom of Hoosiers came from all those years on the radio. Because to be honest with you, you know, a lot of people have said to me, you know, since I was elected to Congress a decade ago, well, I'll bet your years in radio really helped you, you know, to be a communicator and to be able to carry your message out. And I said, well, you know what helped me the most in my years in the radio to prepare me for public service was not what I was saying, but it was what I was hearing. What gave me the courage to go to Washington, D.C. and battle against leaders in my own party. I mean, I was one of the few Republicans that actually opposed No Child Left Behind back when a president of our own party was pushing it through the Congress, because I believe education is a state and local function. I think we here in Indiana can run our schools just fine. When the administration went on to try and expand Medicare in a fiscally irresponsible way, I was one of a couple of dozen Republicans who fought against that. I opposed the Wall Street bailout, helped lead the battle against that, and on it goes, even through battles this year. But my confidence in the battles that I've made over the last 11 years in Washington, D.C., I can't help but believe has been derived from my faith and my faith in the people of Indiana. The people of this state are unusually grounded in common sense and common wisdom, and I really do believe at the end of the day, as we talk today about how we build an even better Indiana, we can also talk about how we build and we lead for an even better America from this state. I honestly believe that we have the best governor in America in Mitch Daniels, bar none. Indiana's come in the last 6 years, whether you agree or disagree with everything this administration has done in Indianapolis, the truth is we've made extraordinary progress, haven't we, Jim? It's been incredible to think about. I mean, think about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, the state bureaucracy unreformed, schools underperforming and unreformed for decades. We had a $700 million debt at the state level. And this governor comes into office, makes the hard choices, takes the stands, and manages to square the books, cut taxes, put a cap on property taxes around the state of Indiana, supported by Hoosiers, and manages to pass the most advanced government reforms in my lifetime. I got to tell you, down in Columbus, sometimes these days I just go down to the BMV to just hang out and visit with those people because I miss them. You know, I used to spend so much time at the BMV. I mean, I got to know those people. I got a lot about their families, and then now I'm in and out. Sometimes I just go online. All of that's been done in the last 6 years. Indiana's been setting the pace. Indiana's become the fiscal envy of the country. And on an increasing basis, Indiana's been drawing the attention of businesses around the country. We've been holding our own in job creation in these very difficult economic times. And Indiana's being consistently rated now as one of the best places for businesses looking to grow jobs or create jobs around this country. But let me tell you, the reason I'm running for governor of Indiana is really just three quick reasons. Number one is I love this state. I love everything about it. It's been a joy for me to represent Indiana in Washington, D.C., and it's been a privilege, even on the days that it hasn't been a joy. But I'll tell you what, men and women, I just, the idea of being able to come home and to continue in public service and hopefully make a lasting contribution to the lives and the prosperity of the people of Indiana is where my heart resides. So first and foremost, I love this state, and my confidence is in all the people of this state. Secondly, I'm running for governor of Indiana because I think Indiana is on the verge of an era of growth like we've never seen in our lifetime. I mean, truthfully, because of the progress that we've made with great leaders like Jim Baird and Governor Mitch Daniels and the Indiana General Assembly, we've become the fiscal envy of the country. People are looking at the Hoosier State. And I really do believe that with continued leadership of living within our means, of meeting our obligations, but adding to that the kind of bold leadership and reforms that will encourage investment and growth and create jobs and continue reform in education and continue to stand for safe streets and for strong families and for the values that make our community great, we can build an even better Indiana than what we built in the last 6 years. And that's why I'm running today. I really do believe, and the one thing I've heard as I've traveled all around this state, I was in Vigo County today, I was in Lake County earlier this week, I was in Jay County last night. I walked into Jay County last night, somebody looked at me and they said, "You look tired." And I said, "It's not makeup." You know, we're home, we're canvassing the state, we're going in every direction that we possibly can. But what's interesting to me is this is a state filled with people confident in their opinions. That's one of the things I love about Hoosiers. But there's usually a pretty large diversity of opinion about what the priorities are to be. But the one thing I keep hearing over and over again from Hoosiers is summed up. Men and women come up to me in the four corners of this state and they say, "Mike, we got to keep it going. We got to keep Indiana growing. We got to have the kind of leadership at the state level and at the local level that's going to keep Indiana moving in the right direction." Because I think Hoosiers sense it. They sense that it's different maybe than any time in the 50 some odd years that I've been on this earth. I mean, Indiana, let's be honest, we've always held our own, but we've been in this big industrial Midwest where we've been fighting against states like Michigan and Ohio and Illinois. But now everybody's looking at us because we've got our fiscal house in order, because we've been embracing the kind of reforms that are setting the pace for a government that moves at the pace of taxpayers instead of the pace of bureaucrats. Because we're saying we're not going to rest in Indiana until every child in this state has a shot at a world-class education, regardless of race or creed or color. America's looking at Indiana. And that can be an opportunity.